How are you sleeping? Where are you sleeping?
I sleep in Kigali. I sleep in Kigali in the capital, and there's no electricity, so there's no way to recharge batteries. Um, None of that would be possible. So it was actually a choice that I made from the start, from the get-go. I chose this location, which is far from Kigali. It's a 2-hour ride every day.
And
Uh,
no road for the last
for
quite a bit.
half of it is a dirt road. So it's anywhere between an hour and 45 minutes and 2 hours and a half,
Hmm.
depending on the weather and whether it's rained or not, and the state of the roads. But it's so we sleep in Kigali, and actually being in the car is an interesting time because it's in both directions, because it's a lot of thinking time, and and also as a crew, we all talk about things. We debrief. We try to figure things out, and it's yeah, the travel time is an interesting transition and way to get in shape for the day. I mean, in shape psychologically.
We spoke about what people in the rest of the world might think. What's your hope for people in Rwanda seeing the film? Is it being shown there? Is it scheduled?
Well, this film, I um, I was supposed to go show My Neighbor, My Killer in early April,
Hmm.
and for the 15th commemoration, and Cannes called, so they asked me to cancel, which I did, and I hope I'll be able to go very soon. I hope within the next couple of months I'll be able to go to Rwanda to show the film there.
Is it shown on television or in venues, or how is it seen?
I don't know what's going to happen. It was supposed to be shown in Parliament as part of the commemorative events. Um, Now I don't know. I'll have to figure out what the plan is.
And the earlier three, were they seen in Rwanda widely, or?
The first two were seen in Rwanda. Um, in both cases, what I did is in different, there were different things organized. Um, what I did for both of them is I showed the films in Kigali to a list of people that I invited. Um, Government, international organizations, NGOs, um, foreign cooperations and embassies, and basically anybody who worked in the justice sector. Um, and that's what I did for both films. And then I would go show it up on the hill where I filmed it. In both cases, with a mobile cinema and projector and a white sheet and the whole thing. Um, a generator because there's no electricity. It's always a bit of a production. Um, and the first one was shown with DFID, the Department for International Development, the UK Department for International Development, um, gave me, uh, through an NGO, a Belgian NGO called RCN Justice and Democracy, they gave me a chunk of money have a project, to have a program whereby uh, all the elected local officials and justice officials throughout the country were invited to screenings and were given tapes. At the time it was VHS tapes of the films.
That's how
um,
long you've been working on it.
that's right, to see, and and also all the NGOs had were given tapes to have screenings, and it was sort of a limited release, with people who were interested. The second one, what happened was we got, again through RCN Justice and Democracy, which has been working in Rwanda, a Belgian NGO that's been working in Rwanda for 15 years now. We got funding to show the film in the prisons and in rehabilitation camps. So it took a while to get that going.
Did you attend any of those?
I actually did not, because oddly enough, I was never there when they were happening. Um, but about 35, 35,000 prisoners saw the second film. And there were then workshops. I mean, there were discussion groups around issues of coexistence with people from the community in the local areas where the prisons were.
What did you hear about how they reacted to the film?
Apparently, there were. I mean, it was very. There were very interesting reactions. It was very good. None of it, and I had asked actually that none of it be filmed. I thought it was my give back. I didn't want to. Do you see what I mean?
It's becoming too, yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about nuance earlier, and there's such a nuanced or subtle reaction to some of the things we see in the movie. I mean, like in the scene with those two women at the end, the one woman goes from being worried that people are going to come back to kill them to saying, actually, to my taste, they can't come. They're not coming back soon enough. And then later in the trial scene, the woman who says, "Just give them clemency for my children," but the way she does it is almost so. It's not. It just feels so defeated, and what difference can it make? They're already gone. It's not. Oh, as a tribute to my children, they would, want me to be merciful. It's just fine. Do it for them, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah. It's a bizarre sort of forgiveness. I mean, it's really resignation. I think that Félicité sort of gives at the end. It's the state has forgiven them. They're out of prison. Um, he's come to seek my forgiveness. For a long time, he didn't come. So now just let him go. Let this court, grant him clemency. It's but however, what's interesting is she gives him, so she says that, but there's Fazi, the other woman in I'll start again.
It's okay.
Could that have been louder?
Félicité has this sort of resigned attitude after this whole process. I mean, it's been 15 years at that point, or 14 years, and she's just tired, and you sort of feel it. There's this exhaustion in her voice.